Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to GQUAT Family Reunion Buzz, where good friends become family, and family is everything. I am logging on here so that I can see the chat with you guys. I will give myself a thumbs up so that I can Oops. I can hear the echo. I forgot to turn this down. I was running around at the last minute, you guys, and I'm like, all of my usual preps at the last minute, and I don't see it. I was logged into the wrong one. Hello, Sissy, Joanne Stevens. Talked to you late last night, little sister. I love you. Unbiased LLC. I hope you are safe wherever you are and that you have traveling grace. My Renaissance grandma. I saw you today. April Jackson. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? 755 Media. Thank you. I watch all of you guys. I tried to, which one of the reasons I was running late today because I had to go out, got stuck in traffic. But some things you have to do, I never have cash. And I didn't have a single dollar. So usually I get a couple of rolls of quarters for laundry. I live in an apartment, a senior handicapped apartment, and the machines still take cash. Why? Because old folks can't do the technology where you're scanning this card and that card. But let me digress and say welcome to everyone. If you're here on a repeat, whatever they call it, when you're rushing, you can't even remember all of your words. Those of you in the bushes, I want to thank each and every one of you. And I want to say one thing, because I was recently gifted 20 gift memberships from Gina. And I have several new people in the Friends and Family Club. It's $1.99 a month. Me, I'm on a fixed income. If I have $2 extra a month, I am so blessed at 75 years old that my mother is still living. I'm going to go contribute to the family. I'm going to buy an extra bottle of like rubbing alcohol. I'm going to buy some Q-tips, something. But all the extra money that I have, I take care of my needs. I don't really need anything. But I just want to say that I don't have extra money. What each of you can do, and if you're not a member, at least subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell. When you see the ads, watch the ads. Even that helps the channel to grow. So I just want to say thank you. The Garden Quilt and Art Show. Let me put that up there in the corner. For those, let me see, where is my cursor? I can't find it. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, there it is. At least I thought I saw it. Oh, there it is. Black on black. For those of you who are new to the channel, Dolores is in the background. She is one of our loyal moderators. And for those of you who are new, Miss Patty's Kitchen, thank you for coming and welcome. Let me tell you guys a little bit about the channel. My name is Ellen Pankey, and at the bottom of the screen, you see a little bit about the channel. I'm 75 years old. I am the second eldest in my branch of the family, and my beloved mother is still living, and she loves watching this show. Sometimes she doesn't see it. She likes watching live because she sits down and she takes notes of what I said, what I did. She reminds me to slow down because I get excited. I can talk 100 miles a minute. I can talk about everything. And for those of you watching in other countries, other parts of the country, everybody doesn't talk this fast. I used to be aggravated in our neighborhood growing up in Stamford, Connecticut. Maria Graham, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. And there would be people from other parts of the world, and they would have really thick accents and talk 100 miles a minute. Well, you can keep up with an accent. I realize I have a New England accent, kind of twangy, talk through your nose, talk kind of fast. And she goes, "Thank you, thank you." And then I'll look back at the replay, and I'm like, "Mommy was right about you." Sometimes I look like today I had to go to the bank, and that's a story because we were talking about cash, and I need some for tomorrow and a couple of other things. And as I walk past the glass to get in the bank, there is that little handicap button that you push for the doors to open automatically. Yes, I can open the door, but at my age, I ain't doing anything I don't have to do myself unless it contributes to a worthy and well goal, such as physical therapy. I do all my squats. I do all my leg presses with weights. I do everything. I do them every day, every morning. I had a funny little phone call last week. For those of you who do not know Nikki, the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick, and somebody was kidding me and said, "Auntie Ellen, I didn't know Nikki was at your house sewing on your sewing machine." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Then they said, "Look at the end of your live. You got up to get the picture of that your granddaughter painted." And they said, "You thick, 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 Auntie Ella Nana. You thick like that Nikki girl." And Nikki that day had on a black shirt and black pants. And I did too. That was the funniest thing. So yeah, yep, auntie, grandma, nana. I'm of age, but I do take care of myself, and I always have. Miss Shirley, the OG gardener. Thank you for coming and welcome. April Jackson, I don't know if I said hello. And if ever you guys are sitting in the chat and I don't speak to you, charge it to my eyes, not to my heart, because I try to speak to everybody. I know that the rest of the GQUAT family speaks to each other. I know that the moderators make it a special point of saying hello to everybody, but I don't always see the chat. It goes so fast, and I'm not whining. Oh yes, I am. For those of you who do not know, I am totally blind in one eye, so your depth perception is off. Not only that, there's a delay from StreamYard to to watching on YouTube. Girl Dad cooking up deliciousness. Now I can see. Thank you. Thank you for being a member of the GQuad Friends and Family Club. I have so much to tell you guys. My Renaissance Grandma, I saw you on other channels, and which one of the things being discussed on YouTube. I'm kind of casual today because this weekend I want to start gardening. I have not started except in the house, and the everything in my arrow garden, my peppers were topped out. So I gave them a big chop, a big like when I started my hair and locks, I got a big chopping. My hair got chopped, so I really chopped my peppers down. But by Monday, I plan to go in my garden I had a complete knee replacement about about 9 weeks ago, and so I'm not able to stand a long time. I'm not able to walk very far. But I was looking at my reflection to go into the bank today, and when I saw mommy a couple weeks ago for Mother's Day, she said, "Oh, look at you. You're walking so much better." And I remember growing up, mommy always said, and Auntie Joanne will tell you, sit up straight, pull your stomach in. That was one of her pet peeves. Pull your stomach in for the girls. My son and my brother, the Marine Corps veteran, I love watching them. They can be standing across the room, like at a family reunion. These guys do you proud. Joe is standing up straight. He might be usually standing by mommy's chair, and he's so erect. It's almost like his back has a bow to it. He is so straight. My son, the same thing. My son did not go in the military, but when my husband and I purchased the homestead in North Carolina in 1982, it was way out in the country. It was off grid. And I said, am I doing my son an injustice? This educationally, because I wanted him to go to college. My father grew up the son of sharecroppers, and he moved to Connecticut, worked 3 jobs for 40, 50, 60 years, and sent all 6 of his kids to college. I wanted my kids to be successful. And so I sent my son to a military prep school in Virginia. The name of the school was called the Linton Hall School or the Linton Academy, and it was in a place called Bristow, Bristow, Virginia. And it was a boarding school. Aaron wasn't being bad or anything, but they taught the boys. It was an all boys academy. They learned survival skills. Different generals and presidents of other countries would send their children to the school, their sons. They would be they would be in the band. They had to go out on military drills with nothing except their backpack, a little shovel, and water, things that they needed to survive. Yes, they used the toilet in the bathroom and dug it up. They learned how to survive. I grew up prepping and visiting my grandparents in the South off grid. They later moved to Connecticut and moved to apartments. But I just want to say that is my prepping background. I, in my lifetime, I've lived in big cities, small towns, off grid, 12 miles from the nearest town, and the nearest town only had 4 stoplights. It was like 32 miles to get to a Walmart. Why am I talking about this? Because I saw Tina, the New Orleans gardener, and I didn't have a chance to comment because to rest my eyes, and I have glaucoma in my eyes, so I watch on TV, so I don't have to wear my glasses and I can rest my eyes in between. And the New Orleans gardener was talking about worms. Well, I have most of my community garden in containers, and the containers have worms so big. My baby sister said, "Hey sis, watch out, there might be a snake in there." There might be, but I ain't scared of no snakes. When I lived off grid, and more recently in the last up until 10 years ago, I lived off grid in North Carolina on 4 acres by myself. We had moccasins, we had copperheads, as long as I saw them first, and I was ready. I always had something to slice something up. This is actually my new knife that I use for a letter opener. I have a slight mail haul to show y'all, and I just had to buy it because I couldn't find any of my pocket knives. For those of you who live off grid or live in the country, you always have to have a knife. You have to open feed. You have to open feed sacks. You have to open bales of hay. You've got to do different things. You might have to cut something off of an animal's collar, but you have to be prepared. So I was looking in one of the kitchen drawers and I don't see colors very well, like black on black. And look what I found in the drawer. I have helpers that come sometimes, different aides, different helpers, and they put things in different places and I can't find them. Here's one of my handy dandy little pocket knives. This thing is so old. I'm going to clean her up though. This is just a small little thing. You can probably see how sharp she is. And this is a pretty good steel blade. From this side, you can see how thick it is. You can see how thick it is. She's a little rusty. Somebody might have put her in the dishwasher in another place that I've lived. Off grid, I did have a dishwasher. Here in this handicap apartment, I'm the dishwasher. I'm the cook. I'm the everything. For those of you on YouTube, we are in slow mode so that you can comment every 20 seconds. Oh, yes, I did ask Dolores to put you guys on slow mode because I miss a lot of your comments. By the time I see it, even if she highlights them, I don't get to see them. This is my first time trying it. I might take it off. But yeah, I just want you guys to know I'm trying to see your comments. Also, you can put exclamation mark GQUAT, GQUAT, to drop your channel. Dolores, please drop yours first because guess what, you guys? Dolores reached 100 subscribers today. I mean, family members. I try not to say the word SUBSCRIBERS because I don't know, something happens. Something happens with YouTube. And I want to also say something for those of you who are subscribed to this channel. I have well over 1,800 family members, almost 1,900. I was going to do a giveaway at 19, but I'm going to wait until I get to 2,000. Why? Because I want to do a big celebration. And I realized today that the my count is going down. It's slow. That doesn't bother me. I'm not on YouTube to make a lot of money. I'm retired. I have enough to live on. The couple of extra dollars I get from YouTube every 2 or 3 months, because they don't do a payout unless you have $100 from all sources. That's fine too. I'm on here to share the knowledge that I have gained in 75 years. I want to tell you something else that happened in the bank today. I was so excited. I went to the teller and she was a young lady, and as I went up to her, her little booth, she had a little crocheted animal sitting up there. And it was the cutest little thing. And I said to her, "That is so cute. That is so cute." And she said, "I made that. I made that myself." Well, I was so proud of her because you don't see many young people learning to crochet, knit, quilt, the heritage arts, even to cook. I want to show you guys something. Well, I have so many things to show you guys. One thing, I got a little payment from YouTube finally, and for Memorial Day, I'm going to up my gardening game because my raised bed got robbed last winter. All 120 cloves of garlic that I planted, each one was stolen. Each one was dug up and swollen. It had to be another gardener because strangers walking by did not know that was garlic underneath. And I'm not pointing fingers and naming names, but they're going to have an issue if I woke up on them in my garden taking my stuff. But after that, I don't know, the bed was weakened, and all of that potting soil in this big bed, it was about 2 feet by 4 feet by about 10 inches. All my good soil fell to the ground and it's sitting there, but it's on a rug. So I will get somebody to help me roll up the wood. And what I'm going to do is get two of the tin beds. I want your opinion. I don't know which one I'm going to get. I have enough money to buy this now. Dolores is saying she can't speak individually, but she appreciates every one of you for coming to see Auntie Ellen, Auntie Nana, for those of you who call me Auntie. So, those of you who have gotten these tin beds, the one that I'm going to get is like 4 feet long, 2 feet wide, kind of oval, so I don't trip over the corners or bump into it while I'm out there working. And I'm going to get one that has a little support in the middle. I don't know how I'm going to put it together. Somebody will help me, I think. Or I'll be out there with my fingers and pliers. I don't have any tools and putting it together because what needs to be done has to be done. But I want to ask you guys if any of you I know a lot of you have these beds, but do you support the ones that have the little support in the middle? Do you think I should get that one or the one that's just open? Let me put an S in the chat if you think that I should get the one with the metal support. So I can get two of them for, say, $55 ish, under $60 plus tax and delivery. It can actually be delivered tomorrow, but I don't know how I would get it to my garden because the maintenance men are off. It's a long weekend. And I don't know. I have one of those little carts that you push along that maybe if I take it apart, I can get there. And I'm going to put cardboard in the bottom of it and all my old leaves that have been out there all winter. And I'm so looking forward to it. Those of you who are eating things from their garden, like my sister Joanne Stevens. I saw T-Nog out there with her worms. Oh, you know what I wanted to tell you guys? You would never believe that this city slicker, even though I told you I lived off grid, I used to have a worm farm. When I lived on the North Carolina homestead, we owned 4 acres, but we leased another like 25 acres when we had the horses and things, and pigs, and goats, and ducks, and chickens, and other things. But I started out with my worm farm. I went to Canada and I bought 50,000 red Wriggler night crawlers. And I remember when the sack arrived, it was kind of like a breathable feed sack. And when you opened it, it was all these worms writhing around, writhing around. Well, I wasn't scared of worms per se because Daddy had a boat and we used to go pick up fiddler crabs and get them for fishing. And he would get some kind of worms. I was scared of those. They were red and they had legs and things on them. Now I didn't like those, but yeah. So I was familiar with worms. I'm not scared of snakes as long as I see them first. If I see them first, I got something for them. They better hope that they see me. I have accidentally stepped on a copperhead with flip flops on in the country. Duh. Everybody else I see in the country has on boots. What did I have on? Flip flops, going to feed my puppies, my Cane Corso puppies, and my flip flop hit one. And as I was coming back out of the dog pen, I realized that this thing had uncurled and was sliding away. Ugh. Then I'm like, oh, that thing might go up there and hurt one of my puppies. I had a 1-bedroom mobile home that I used to use for a doghouse, in another one bedroom mobile home that I actually lived in when we were later on building a house. But yeah, that's part of my off grid experience. I wanted to show you guys something else, some photos. I see my Renaissance grandma cooking and doing her stuff in the background. I cook. I'm an excellent cook. Let me. Oh, I'm going the right way on my iPad. I wanted to show you guys a picture because I want to show you guys. I have not been able to stand a long time, but I don't cook a lot because my family cooks. The the 18-year-old I told you, I might have shown some of you the story. She cooked for my mom, and she cooked a meal from scratch for grandma with fresh broccoli, fresh potato, corn, and I'm not sure. I don't remember what kind of meat. Maybe it was ribs or something. And then the next day, my daughter cooked shrimp and whatnot. Oh, Sissy, Joanne Stevens, I noticed that you took your garlic out of one of your beds. It doesn't have to be in water. You can just put it like straight back out, separate the cloves, and replant it. Although it may not grow in Arizona because you're getting ready to get into your hot your heat season into your heat season. On a cast iron Wednesday yesterday, Bougie Prepper used Auntie Ellen's apple cake recipe, and somebody gifted her a cast iron bundt pan. Now, I've cooked in Dutch ovens. I've had all the iron, but I never baked a cake in it. But I want to show you the original recipe. Anybody who wants the recipe can go to Bougie Prepper's channel and see the apple cake. This is me in Arizona, Auntie Joanne's house. I always bake 2 cakes at a time because we plan to freeze one and eat one. But there's a mouse that lives in the house called Uncle Roscoe. He walks when the cakes are baked. And this cake is so pretty. The pretty cakes, I don't turn the butt upside down. I leave it as Unbiased would say, with the pretty side up. So this is an apple cake. I also bake them with craisins and nuts in them to for the family members that like nuts. So what else do I have? I have so. Oh wait, I have to show you something in the pictures. You know I always have stories. So how many of you have ever had surgery on anything? Ty Lily, thank you for coming and welcome. Those of you who are in the chat, thank you for the 13 thumbs up. Thank you in the chat. How many of you have ever had surgery? Put a one in the chat. Actually, DeWillours, can you take off the slow mode? Because I think it's actually going too slow. I'm not able to see everybody, and it might be going a little bit too slow so that I can't see the people who are in there. So this is a funny story. I talked to Auntie Joanne about it last night. Perfection Baking, formerly known as Diversity Love, is with us, and it's not showing up on StreamYard. It is showing up on YouTube. But on Saturday, I worked on the Queen Mama Africa. So those of you who have had surgery, you know that before they put you under anesthesia, the doctor says, well, what are we operating on? Okay, for me, I just had a left knee replaced. So I put a left knee. So he put a little X on my left knee, and I signed it and he signed it, right? But as those of you who go live, when you are live, your left, when you're looking at it, like if you're a doctor looking at your patient, his left, like this is your left. That's my right. This is my right. This is your left. So I put together my Queen Mama Africa. Why? Because she's a queen and I put African fabrics on her. Queens come in all colors everywhere. So what had happened, David, Corey, I'm glad you got my back. That's where I want to keep you right there, right tucked up behind me with my back being watched. And because all the moderators and everybody have my front. But you know what? I posted this picture on Facebook and someone said, someone I don't even know, we were talking about criticism on YouTube. Well, somebody's going to have something to say because why? Opinions are like other body parts. Everybody got one. So this lady messaged me on Facebook and she said, "Oh, I just want to tell you that you have your hands on backwards. That's not the way that the pattern was written." Well, you can actually put the hands on any way you want to. I cut this pattern out in December and I had it up here on my design wall in the back. And I forgot where I put the directions and I didn't care. I was just having fun showing you guys that I was finishing up a project. So I said, "Thank you." I said, "But you can really do the hands any way you want to." So she sent me back another comment. She was in another quilting group and she was, hey, a lot of quilters are perfection and do everything. When I'm doing quilts for my shows, I do too. I do as well. And she said, "Well, it won't take much. Over the years, I've picked out a lot of work." And I told her, as have I. I have pulled out stitches that were wrong or backwards just because I know that I can. And I'm going to put this in an exhibit. So I said, "You know what, you guys?" I said, "It ain't this serious." I didn't want her to think that I couldn't do it. Although I will tell you this, quilters, we use off like a neutral color, like titanium gray, off white, to sew everything, every black. Why? Because if you have to take something loose, you can't see black on black. It's hard to sew straight. So guess what? Guess what, you guys? I performed surgery on the Queen Mama Africa. So I took her hands loose and it was difficult, you guys, because I was sewing jeans on. I was showing jeans. Dolores, can you take the comments out? She must be blessed to have the time to pick others' art. Ain't that the blessed truth? So I just want to show you, since I'm using my not quite flat stomach mother, but it's flat enough for a 75-year-old. And I put her hands on. I pin them the right way so that I will re-sew them so her hands are pointed out, and I will put her back together again, the proper way. I wish I could do that neck thing, even though my mother would have to fit. That neck thing. Oh, like, Lord have mercy. Anyway, thank you, friends and family. Thank you for coming aboard the Garden Quilt and Art Show, where good friends become family and family is everything. But what I did? I accepted it in the manner in which I assumed that it was given, because I'm always, the glass is half full, not half empty. I don't look at the negativity in what people say. And frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a rat's, PIA, Tracy, welcome. You're here. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. And I don't, unless they put their hands on me, not a good idea. Not a good idea, I might add. Unless they put their hands on me and not in love, I accept it and I assume that they meant well. If they didn't, next. Everything you own in a box to the left, keep it moving. I don't give a rat's. I don't give a rat's, as my last husband would say. So, what else? Oops. What else did I want to talk to you guys about? I will be working on a batch of denim bags. So when you see denim up in the top or anywhere around, when I post something, that is because Dolores made me that beautiful background. Even my photo up in the corner. See, I remembered to go to the opposite corner. Even she is in denim. I want to show you one of my Mother's Day gifts. Speaking of doing things and the arts, this was from my great granddaughter, Simone, and her son, Rylan. She made Nana. She painted this little, I think it's the cutest little thing. You don't have to have a lot of money to create art. Auntie Ellen is feisty. You better bet it. You better bet it. And she can back it up. Trust and believe. I got y'all's back. So it says I love you and all these hearts. And the cute thing about it is that she put a magnet on the back, but the way I'm going to hang it on my fridge, I'm going to put another magnet over here. I found out they sell these little magnets at the Dollar Tree, y'all. So I'm going to put another magnet here so that I can hang it on an angle on my refrigerator. I just think this is the cutest little thing. So let me check my notes. I have so much to tell you guys. Oh, this is what I wanted to tell you about worms because next month, and I accept everyone from all the communities. I will be posting as such. And next month is LGBT month. And I want to tell you this. How many of you know myself? Oh, that's not my granddaughter, Miss Patty. She's my great granddaughter. And I know that you're on IG, and so is she. She has her own baking business. She bakes sweets and sells them. She does all kinds of things. If you follow me on IG, you'll find a link to Simone, and she has a full time job, but she has a part time business, and she sells baked goods. And I want to tell you this: did you know that all worms are bisexual? That all any worm needs is any other worm to procreate. On one end, they have female body parts. On the other end, they have male body parts. So, yeah, all worms only need any other worm to to create other worms. I thought that was interesting. I had forgotten that until I saw the New Orleans gardener, T Nog, with the worms, and I said, I wonder how many people, people knew that. So I talked about YouTube, the raised beds, the worms, my first worm farm. Oh, with the 50,000 worms that I started out with, and I had my worms indoors. I had racks that I had built on wheels, and the worms were in like the plastic, the dish trays, and I had them filled up and I fed them with laying mash for the chickens. And what did I do with the worms? I sold them to fishermen. We had a small country store with a gas station, worm farm, arcade, I had a beer and wine license at that time. I could sell beer and wine in the store. I didn't sell a lot of fresh produce because everybody had a farm, everybody had land. And when I did have meat, it was like the pigs that we had raised and had them, dressed and taken to the freezer locker and salted and stored. So I would sell those fresh country hams that were dried and salted. I would bring them to Connecticut. They would go like crazy. And the name of my store was called The Sugar Shack. SHUGAR, The Sugar Shack. I had t-shirts with Sugar Shack on it, and I would be open from 6 in the morning until 12 at night, like 7 days a week. And then on Sundays, I started closing from, I think, in the morning so I could go to church. And my daughter said, Mommy, you're going to work yourself to death in this store. You're working all the time. All you do is work, Mommy. Yeah, and I did work a lot. We worked a lot. We worked hard. I'm not sorry we did. But that's just part of my life that I'm telling you about. So that being said, I used to have a poem on the refrigerator, and it said, We the living, led by the ungrateful, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We have done so much with so little for so long that we are now qualified to do everything, anything, with nothing. And that's how I feel that I am. I have had jobs where I made a lot of money, a lot, a lot, a lot. Then I've had some like this one where I worked hard and barely made a living, but I was happy. I was happy. Now I could not live on 4 acres. I could not do all that. This, having some health issues in the last 10 years, this is my blessing. I get to come visit with you guys every Thursday, every Saturday. I get to share my gifts. There's my twin, Nikki, the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick. Thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. So I want to invite you all, do what you love and love what you do. And that's what I am doing now. And for those of you in the chat, don't forget exclamation mark GQUAT to share your channel. Those of you who are unfamiliar with other channels, go and visit each other. And for those of you, everybody in the chat, please share this out. I'm trying to get to 2,000 family members just so I can have a party, just so that I can have a party. But I noticed recently my new family members are getting slower and slower. And then people that I watch every day, like Jags, I was unsubscribed from them. Like Nikki, the everyday life, I'm on your channel every day. Hands in the dirt. I've been unsubscribed, so I can only assume, you know what they say about assume, making a jerk out of you and me. And I can only assume that that's going on with other channels. I understand that StreamYard was sold, or one of those, YouTube was sold, and other people are in the mix. I imagine that it takes a time to bring everybody on board. Kelly, I bring it every day. I watch you too. I watch you too, girlfriend and member. So going back to denim, the story of what we're doing today. My apartment looks like a denim graveyard. Of course, one of my friends sent me a box with 15 pounds of denim already pressed, already pre-cut to sizes. And then my mother saw me making a quilt for Father's Day for one of you. You know who you are. Mother, I love you. Ego amo te, mommy. And she said, Is that for me? I don't deny my mother anything. Anything that I have that I don't need to survive on, I try to share with others. I try to do giveaways. but I tried to give my mother something extra, a treat. And so I've been collecting jeans. My granddaughter works in the school system, and she has been collecting jeans. Um, I shouldn't say My Renaissance grandma sent me a pair of jeans. I took those jeans and I gifted her. I made her a little bag, a crossbody bag. Why? Because my granddaughter's husband, who is about like 6'2", a big guy, him like Big Bruce, he's a big guy, and he helps me sometimes. Some of the perennials I have in my garden, which you will be seeing soon because some of the irises are about to bloom, and the gardener, the family gardener, dug up some of the rhizomes and he brought them to me, and I planted them in the garden. And he said, Nana, I would like to have a man's cross body bag. So I needed jeans to do that, a lot of jeans, because he's a big guy. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Not bad. Spell check sucks. I think it should be spell unchecked, because they can find every word, even when you type it in again, and you leave like one little letter transposed. They put everything in there, and then you get all these people in places that you never subscribe to. But anyway, anyway, I digress. So going back to the jeans, I will be making him a body bag for Father's Day. For those of you who don't know, I will be doing a small birthday party for Father's Day. Why? Because Dolores's birthday is Father's Day. So speaking of that, let me do a mail haul, which is why I took out the knife a little while ago, because I had to open this. I had to open it. This actually had my actual apartment number, because the pink girl living in a pink world, of course, this is her quilt in back of me. She knows it's going to take a while to get it finished because I have so many little things done, but that's a quilt in progress. But I need to get her some little things out in the interim, because some are a secret, but one she knows. I will be getting her a small tote out of this denim. I will be working on the tote on Saturday, but I ordered some pink because I didn't want the same pink fabric that's in the quilt in every single thing. And I do have a few people who like pink, including my middle great granddaughter. So this is what came. And this is a batik. It's supposed to be 2 yards, but it looks a little, actually, it is. The old fashioned way of measuring, and one of my Native American friends showed me, and this is what I do. Like when you go into places, you want to buy, say, a pair of secondhand jeans, you want to know how long they are. There were a couple of young ladies that work with my granddaughter in the schools, and they were tall and slim. These are like Levi's and other jeans. They'll tell you these are 25 waist. So these are narrow. I actually love this size because I'm going to make this into a tote, a crossbody tote, or some kind of a tote. Dolores likes that pink. I can't tell you what it's going in, but like I want to know how long these are. This I know is about 1 yard. Why? Because I measured it. The Native Americans, and my mother's grandmother was Native American as well. She was actually a Native American healer. And how men used to measure, they used to take their feet. Daddy could do that. Daddy was in construction, and he could put one foot in front of the other foot, in front of the other foot, and just about measure a room. But he always had his tape measure on him as well, because he had a trucking and painting business, and he did construction. So this is one of my favorite yardsticks. It's a quilter's one, and it has a metric system on one side and the American system on the other. So over the years, because I've been sewing all my life, since I was 7, 8 years old, I hand sewed a skirt, and I know about what a yard is. So when I hold my arm out, this is a yardstick, it's 36 inches. I know, even though I'm shrinking and my arms are shriveling up and shoulders, I know when I bring it, turn my face and get it about to my nose, that's about a yard. Maria Graham said, that's pink. So that's pink. So this is, I can go, like if I go to, Maria Graham got slick, y'all. She's joined several quilting groups and they have fabric on tables. She goes to the secondhand stores, yard sales. So does Kelly. I bring it every day, passionately in tree yards. That's one of their hobbies. I've slowed down since the you know what hit. But what have I done? I've solicited other family members going to get things from me, including my granddaughter. And she pre-washes them before she gives them to her Nana to make sure that her Nana stays healthy. And I can tell her her detergent because I can smell them. Big Rooster even washed his jeans before they sent them. He sent them to Auntie Ellen. Maria's doing a great job on her quilts. Oh, yes, she is. Yes, she is. And for those of you on Facebook, she is posting them. So most of my big jeans, like Big Rooster's, I take the pockets off or cut the whole top off because for the big jeans, I can use one half. I can use one half for a jeans bag. Okay. For the small jeans, I just use the whole thing, cut them off on the crotch. Saturday, I will actually be working on Dolores's tote, her birthday tote. She said that she carries a lot of stuff and she would like to have a big one. So hers will be one of the smaller pairs of jeans. It's already started. But to show you the size of some of the pockets on the bigger jeans, these are the pockets from the jeans that my Renaissance grandma sent me. And I knew when I made her big tote live that 3 of the pockets I would give to my granddaughter and great granddaughters for Mother's Day. They didn't get them yet, but they're ready. I will see them probably over the weekend or the next weekend. And so I collect all the pockets. Now these are some interesting pockets. One of the ladies is getting the next set of jeans with the flaps. Most jeans do not have flaps. And I want to read you a story about jeans. This is from one pair of her jeans. So this is going on a small. I've got several orders for. Maria Graham says, nice looking bag, Penny. Thank you. So my family, I don't buy them gifts. I never buy them gifts. We have a policy that we try to make gifts, even if it's cooking. So Dolores, you may or may not allegedly be getting, something out of this 2 yards of fabric. But I have a couple of other people, including my middle great granddaughter who likes pink and has a birthday coming up. So let me tell you a story about jeans. You know, part of this channel is about storytelling. So these are watch pockets in jeans. Let me put my iPad over here before I drop it and break it. In jeans, Levi Strauss was one of the first jeans makers. These are not Levi jeans. These are another pair of jeans, but I want to show you what the difference is. Some of the more expensive jeans have rivets in the pockets. I will show you about the pockets. This little pocket here is called a watch pocket. And I want to tell you about watch pockets. This is what the watches were actually kept in. In the old day, they didn't go on your arm. You didn't work in construction on the railroad. When Levi Strauss was making these jeans for the people working on the railroad in California, they made jeans with rivets and they didn't get washed for, say, months at a time. See, this is a pair of Levi's, I think. No, there's something else. But I cut all of the watch pockets. So I want to tell you a story about the 70s and the watch pockets. The watch pockets may or may not have been used to keep people's, it's legal now, but it wasn't in the day. So in the 70s, they would put their little nickel bags in the watch pocket or whatever else they used to elevate their consciousness to a different level. With 14 votes, 90, I don't understand what that means, but the one with support, 7 cents, says no thanks for voting. I don't know.
Can you hear me?
I don't know what that is.
Can you hear me?
So anyway, let me tell you about Levi's. And you know, some of the jeans that they have in Japan, for example, those jeans cost $200. I used to work for a law firm in California. It was an international chain, and the partners would give, I was a senior corporate paralegal at the time, and the partners for our birthdays would give us gift certificates for maybe $100, and the holidays, $100, $200, depending on the rank that we had. So I remember one such gift certificate. I went in the store, and because I wore a suit and tie to work every day, I literally had to wear a suit because I may have to go to court. We had all these fancy clients. I did trust and estate planning, and I'd often have to go to their house to notarize a document or do something in Palm Springs. I would go back and forth. Oh, the poll was for my garden purchase. Thank you, Dolores. Thank you. I will. I'm so excited about that. So I bought a pair of jeans. Why? Because in the corporate community, I wore pearls every day. I wore a suit. I wore Ralph Lauren polo shirts to work. I wore silk shirts in the upper corporate community. And so I went and I wanted some jeans. My granddaughter said, Nana, you do not have to spend your $200 gift certificate buying jeans. Buy some Levi's, buy Old Navy, buy Gap. So that's what I do now. That's what I do. Dee's Hollywood Garden. Thank you for coming. And welcome, welcome, welcome. So let me read you the story of Levi's. These are actually from Big Rooster's jeans. So it says Levi Strauss, quality never goes out of style. And I want you to see where these rivets, you can't tear the pockets in these jeans. A lot of these jeans that I'm reusing to make the quilts for my mother, to make these jean bags, are from other vendors that don't have such workmanship. So this says, this pocket, and these jeans were worn out. These were the inside of Big Rooster's jeans, and it says, quality never goes out of style. Patented May 20th, 1873, I think. I can't see the small print. It goes, for over 140 years, our celebrated high-quality denim riveted jeans have been before the public. This is a pair of them. Toot, 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 Big Rooster. Created by Levi Strauss and Company in 1873, it has become an American tradition, symbolizing the vitality of the West to people all over the world. We shall thank you to carefully something something. But anyway, I'm not going to read the small print even with my reading glasses. I have 20/20 vision for distance, but I wear glasses for reading, as do most people over 40, but not Mike's Chaotic Gardening or GT Jr. are over 40 and don't wear reading glasses. But I wanted to read this for you guys because I thought that was interesting. So I saved the little watch pockets because they will be decoration on maybe some children's bags or other jobs, other bags, something that I'm doing, just because I thought it was interesting. And I save all the parts of the jeans. So I want to show you some. And when I say all the parts, I mean all the parts. This is a strap to my favorite jean jacket. I've had this jacket over 50 years. It finally died, and I sewed one of Unbiased elephants on the front. One of my artist friends did a print on the back, and I'm decorating it. I have one of Unbiased's special jean labels that she made me on Big Rooster's fabric. And this, when you're recycling jeans, this can be a button on the front. You sew this to the top, put a flap over it, a flap that you can make just by looping one of these around. By looping one of these around them, and boom, you have an opening. Or you can cut this half off and put it from the back of a garment, and you have the front and the back of jeans. I'm just showing you some things that you can do for recycling. I have one pair of jeans that I'm going to show you that I cut up, and look at these. This is amazing, amazing stitch work. This is probably, I have double needles. Miss D's Hollywood Garden is saying hello. This has 3 rows of stitching. I don't remember if it did or did not have rivets, but this is amazing, amazing stitching. Those of you who are recycling jeans, keep this part. You can put this on a separate thing. This guy was like 6'5" and had a 34-inch inseam. That means from his crotch like down to his ankle, this was the size of his jeans. And they were 42 by 34. I kept this because I'm going to reuse this as a strap. I'm going to reuse that for a strap. I showed you that one because, hold on just 1 second. Oh, here they are. They fell. This is an interesting set of jeans. Why? I'm going to show you the pocket to this one. The pocket to this one has already been cut up. It's going to a jean bag. Big Rooster didn't want you nosy folk, Kelly from I Bring It Every Day, asking what size his jeans are. So he either crossed it out or they were bleached out. He took the size off of all his jeans. I do too. I do too in my jeans. Y'all ain't gonna be talking about me. You must not know about me. You ain't gonna talk about me. So look at this pocket, you guys. Is this gonna make an amazing cross shoulder bag? Ugh, I can't wait. I'm gonna put some batik fabric either from Indonesia or African fabric, and then make a crossbody bag out of this. I want to show you some of the pockets that I've collected, you guys. This is The pocket from one of Big Rooster's jeans, Levi. I don't own I don't own a crossbody bag yet. I will be making one. My poor sister says, Sissy, I don't have one either. I don't have one either. So these are the pockets from the jeans because I am cutting up another 15, 20 pounds of jeans to make a king size bed quilt for my mother. I will have to send it to the long armor because it's not going to fit under the arm of even my heavy duty machine. So, more Levi jeans. Look at some of these pockets, you guys. I am so excited. I am so excited to be making bags out of here. True religion pockets, exactly unbiased, LLC. Look at this with the leather in the corner of it. So I told you my apartment looks like I've been deboning jeans. I got bits and pieces all over the place. I'm going to the machine because I'm going to show you how I cut some of them up. Look at the pocket on this jean. These jeans were like new. This guy was the one that my granddaughter said was like 6'5". And I said, well, I'll make him a crossbody bag. Anybody that gives me 2 sets of jeans that are really big or 2 or 3 small sets gets a handmade bag. So this I was saving. These are the backs, the pockets of some jeans. Some I put inside other totes. Some of you guys know I make extra large totes like the one I made my daughter for Christmas. Look at all the different patterns on the pockets. Sorry if I missed this. But you guys, and mind you, I have a excuse me, I need to get a little drink of water. Auntie Ellen just talking her little self to death. Needed a blue jean pocket time machine so we can all go back to the 70s. Yep, that little watch pocket. Did anybody keep a secret compartment in their jeans, in their watch pocket over the years? Just put an X in there because we're not doing any confessions, but we might have allegedly seen somebody use the watch pocket for something other than a watch. Who has ever seen anybody use a watch pocket for more than a watch? Yep, I seen it. I have seen it. So look, all these salvage body parts over here. So my helper, I gave off for the weekend because ah, it's a mess. You can't even walk in here. There's different piles of everything. So today we're getting ready to go over and quickly I'll show you how. So, oh my lord, unbiased says jackets, condoms. Yep. Oh, I have a funny story. My son will probably kill me. So at one point, we lived in Venice, California, near Venice Beach. And he and I used to walk back and forth from Pacific Coast Highway. From where we lived, we could see the back door of Gold's Gym. I was actually a bodybuilder during those days. I've always worked out. But we worked out at World Gym and we would walk up and down there. All the Chippendales dancers used to work out there. You know, they'd be pumping iron, sweating. Then all of a sudden they would drop their gray sweats and they'd have on their little posing briefs. Oh, I don't know if you've seen Beyonce's um, uh, posing in Texas Hold'em thing, that little bathing suit thing she had on. Well, that's what the male bodybuilders used to pose in for the shows. So you would see these guys. One of my friends was married to one of those guys. Oh yeah, and I guess some of them did have to use steroids because the parts that they put in those little posing briefs had to fit. I'm just saying. I ain't one to gossip. So you ain't heard that from me. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So these guys would have on these little briefs. So my son was in high school, and he's going to kill me. And he used to go to the beach. My son is very muscular, very handsome. Um, I mean, like the perfect body, no body fat. Those who've seen him will tell you. Aaron is built. He's the one that has a black belt in capoeira, teaches part time at UCLA, teaches capoeira, was a lifeguard at 16. It's like body by whoa. He doesn't have a six pack, he has an eight pack, as does my only grandson, as does my only great grandson. They they work out, which is why I work out, because I don't want to embarrass him showing up. I bring it every day. I know why you said ew. Those body parts. My son would be mad when those guys would do that. He was a teenager, but he would be like, Mom, I hate that." But anyway, Aaron went to Venice High School. He graduated from Venice High School, and he had a T-shirt, and I'm not gonna say, oh, it had a little pocket like the watch pocket on the front of it. And I said, Aaron, I said, talked about being safe and whatnot. And I said, Aaron, where do you keep your safety tools when you go out? You're at the beach. You don't have, you've got on flip flops, you got on sneakers, you don't have on socks. Because one time he said, I keep them in my socks, Mom. So one day, two girls knocked on the door, and he goes walking down the beach with them. And then I said, Aaron. He said, yes, Mom. I said, you got your socks on? He fell out. He fell out. He knew what I was talking about. But he had a T-shirt with like a little watch pocket on, and it said, it's in here. It's in here. So that's the story of my adult son, who my baby is actually 53 years old. So he's older than most of you guys, the stories that I'm telling. So he's going to say, Mom, but the good news is, you guys, he works full time. He has a part-time job. He may be working on his part-time job 7 in the morning till 7 at night. So they can't catch me up to my antics, because they work all the time. And then, like, I try to help my mom, whatever. They're like, Mom, what do you want for Mother's Day? So I tell them, I don't really want anything. Like, I might need a new vaporizer. One thing I am going to need, like, I'm already getting my tin beds. I need Santa to bring me somebody to put it together for me. I could use that. I could use some. Hey, David Corey, you in the back room? Can you come off the door and help Auntie Ellen put her beds together? Because I want to get some starts this weekend, because I'm going to jumpstart my garden, because I've had surgery, and one can't be out there in a community garden and do physical therapy and all that stuff, right? I do have some starts, some peppers that I started from seed, mostly Mike's Chaotic Gardening seeds, and they're this big. I cut them back, and they're about to touch the light in the Aero Garden, so I want to get them outside. So, what are crumbs? The story of today's, I won't say lecture, the story of, although I was an adjunct professor at some of the universities in my life, and the story for today's lesson is easy sewing denim crumbs into layer cakes. What is a layer cake? A layer cake is what is called a 10-inch square in quilting, a 10-inch square of fabric, and they stack together about 30 of them, and it's called a layer cake. You can cut a 10-inch block into 4 blocks, which are 5 inches apiece, and they're called charm squares. So anything that is smaller than like 5 inches, most of us quilters or sewists call it crumbs. So all of the extra crumbs, hola mi hermana, Yankee sister, I brought your stuff back in the house because it got warm out, and there may or may not be something in there that's temperature sensitive that you like, and I just didn't want it to be out there in the heat. And I got all your empty canning jars. Of course, the lids were thrown away because they are not reusable. But come get your stuff. Send your son-in-law by there. So this is what I want to show you. I do with crumbs. These are some of the crumbs sewn together. And this quilt in back of me of Dolores's that I will use for an example, the denim quilt I'm going to be making for my mother, hopefully have it ready by her birthday. This part, this part is actually a 16.5 inch block. When it's finished, it goes up from this top part here, this top part to the bottom part, and then the other. Wait a minute. Oh, there's an extra part. I'm looking at the wrong one. So you can see it's a 16 inch. So I am going to, I've already sketched out my mother's quilt. And a few years ago, you recycled an old mink coat, leather clothes, cowhide rugs, and the pillow covers, table runner, and chair throws. That's what's up. That's what's up. Maria Graham says 85 degrees in South Carolina. Hi, Val Creates and chat. As soon as I get my eyes together, I will be doing some beading. So, you guys, to bring this down a notch, I have sketched out when I'm watching other channels and I'm laying on my bed watching the TV in the bedroom, it's not extra large, but it's 55 inches. So I can see it without my glasses and I can read scores when I'm watching sports. So these are going to be 16-inch blocks. So I have one block that one of my friends made with the denim. She's already cut out a star. And I have the labels that Unbiased LLC made. So in the center of my mother's quilt, I'm going to make a denim square. And I've done the math, and 7 blocks across and 6 blocks down. Well, 7 blocks across will be 112 inches by 96 inches. It should be a little bit longer, 120 by 120, but I couldn't do the math, or I would have to do one small strip around there. So I'm not doing that. So when I put her quilt together, I'm going to 3 16-inch squares together. That's going to be pretty big and pretty heavy. And 6 down. I'm going to do these 3. Then I'm going to do 2 across and 6 down. Then I'm going to do 2 across here. Then I'll sew these 2 together, these 2 together. Then I will send it to the long arm quilter. So I just want to show you guys a draft of how I do my quilts. So I'm sewing with 1/4-inch seams, and I will need 42 blocks that are 16.5 inches by 6.5 inches. I will need 42 blocks that are 10.5 by 10.5, and I'll need 42 blocks that are 10.5 by 6.5. So how this quilt goes together is like this. I'm showing you guys this because quilting is expensive. You can buy old jeans that are free. You can save your own. You don't need a lot if you make a personal size quilt. So this is some of the scraps that I've sewn together to make a 6.5 by 10.5 inch block. And some of you guys who have seen them said that the prettiest blocks are the ones with all the different colors. So I like the light jeans mixed with the dark jeans. Look how interesting this one is. So that's what I'm doing in order to get 42 of everything for my mom's quilt. And I do accept donations of quilts, you guys. Anybody who donates quilts will, I promise you, get something in return. I like to save these long, narrow ones, like I said, for these. I like these for the straps on jeans. So saving the watch pockets, y'all, the blessing pockets. And I'm moving this stuff so I can go to the machine. Look, this was a tiny person. These were Gap jeans. Oh, so it says Gap was established in 1960, 1969, actually. So that's interesting trivia for those of you who play trivia games. The Gap was established in 1969. All right, I'm moving all the stuff because I'm going to the sewing machine to show you how I sew these crumbs together. These, on my way over there, are pieces that are sewn together to make the strips that are 6.5 inches wide by 16.5 inches long. I'm using everything that I have to create this quilt for my mother. So I'm sewing these scraps together that are left over from cutting the big pieces to make my mother's quilt. Mother, I'm working on your quilt, mommy dearest. So these are, let me just turn around a little bit. Oh, I already have them over there already, the 10.5 inch blocks. So, do any of you have any questions? Because I'm going to show you how I sew together. And thanks, all of you. Those of you in the bushes, I want to thank you. I want to thank the moderators. Dolores is in the background, you guys. She's just being quiet. She's posting. Dolores has reached 100 members. And I will be throwing a little birthday party the eve before Father's Day. Why? Because Dolores' birthday is on Father's Day. People are saying hello to you, mommy. Hello, mom. When they say hello, mom, they're saying hello to you, mother dearest. So, you see, I take these cards and then I leave them. Why? Because every quilt deserves a label. That last quilt that I made, the red and black quilt, I had to get it to its owner. It was a rush job. I had to pay $25 for somebody else to make a quilt label and put it on it and mail it directly to her. So I even put the instructions on it. It's going to be sewn with 1/4 inch seams. As I said, long arm quilted, because this quilt's going to be heavy. I'm just going to use like a nice flowered wide fabric underneath it. And then this long arm quilter has some polyester batting. I always use cotton, but it's heavy. This quilt is going to be heavy, but hopefully it won't be so heavy that it cannot be washed in the family's home machine, because I don't want to necessitate every time it needs to be washed going to the laundromat. I live in a building where there's a commercial laundry. My mother, I haven't been down her basement in a long time, but she used to have a Maytag, the big one that would take a licking and keep on ticking. I know that one's been replaced. So yeah, I'm working on 42 blocks of these sides. So let's go over and take my phone, take my other little pig sticker. Miss Dee's Hollywood say, hello, mother. Joanne Stevens says it's going to be an amazing quilt. Yes, it's going to take a lot. Oh, you guys, I'm doing so many squats. Oh, my Lord. I'm doing 3 sets of 10. I work out with a physical therapist for an hour twice a week, but I work out at home. He's going to blow up my exercise equipment to the correct, so that when I'm exercising at home, I won't get injured by falling off an underinflated exercise ball or the underinflated seat that I sit on to sew on that I have bounced off of. Yankee Sister hopes you are recuperating well, Dolores. Dolores is still on a liquid diet, so we have to give her some love and support. She's been sitting back there all this time helping her Auntie Ellen, and everybody's saying hello to everybody. Oh, yeah, after I do my 30 sets of squats, I do leg presses on a Nautilus machine, with weights. I thought it was 80, but I saw wrong. It's only 40 pounds. But 40 pounds is 40 pounds. I do 2 sets of 10 with that, which is why I have my thunder thighs. Okay. So, I don't know why it's black over there, but okay. Okay, looks spooky, doesn't it? Black. Okay, Mother Pankey. So, you guys, let's, without further ado, turn on this heavy duty sewing machine that I'm beating up, beating up, beating up. So, here are some of the parts. I saved the old zippers. Why? This was obviously a pair of short pants. So that could go in a cosmetic case. I've got all these little pieces of crumbs. So I like to sew light and dark together, and I assembly line sew them. Like this one looks like it's about big enough. This one looks like it's almost 6.5 inches by 10.5 inches, and I just have to trim it up for Mommy's quilt. So, you guys, I see you talking in the background. Death, I got a keg. Oh, Mike is so funny. Oh, you guys who are growing your own ginger, you can make your own ginger beer. It's not real beery. I make ginger beer. I make every kind of wine there is. I keep threatening to get my cookbook, my recipe book out, like the apple cake that Bouger Prepper made in her cast iron yesterday. That recipe has to be 60 years old. Has to be married. I got married when I was 19. I'm 75 now. That was the first time. I'm 75 now, and I've been cooking. Had my own kitchen. So these are some crumbs sewn together. So these little pieces like this, these odd shaped pieces, I sort through them. This I actually love. I'm not putting in Mommy's quilt. This is a really heavy duty denim, and I know what it came out of. It came out of my denim jacket that I just cut up. These are very heavy. Mommy's quilt is going to be heavy enough on her little legs and stuff. Not that you have little legs, Mother. I mean on your legs. Blackberry or strawberry wine would be cool to make. My first wine was black plum, and I made it in California, a place called, look at this long strip, a place called Linwood, when I used to live with my sister, Joanne Stephens, and Uncle Roscoe. And I went to one of the farmers markets in Downey, and I bought these really expensive black plums, and I let them get too ripe. What? So I'm taking these 2 small pieces. I'm just going to let you see what I'm doing and keep talking to you. This one's not so pressed, but I'm going to sew right sides together. This one looks like it will just about fit. And if it doesn't fit perfectly, it's fine. And okay, I'm sewing blue on blue only because I have some rayon Madeira thread that's really embroidery thread that was gifted to me some time ago by one of my friends who used to work in one of the sewing factories in North Carolina. And she gave me boxes of spools of old thread. So I try to find little pieces that might kind of sort of fit together. This one I started sewing, and I like to mix the dark with the light, the different colors, so that you can see that some effort was made to sew these random pieces together. That one doesn't quite fit. Oh, here's a nice piece. So I will just, can you guys see what I'm doing? I'll take my, actually, I'll take these big old giant tailor scissors because they'll get across there pretty fast. Any of you who have these scissors are really sharp, really powerful, do keep your fingers well away from there. Or you can wear meat cutter's gloves because I have seen people sever different. What I'm actually going to do is show you guys the correct way. I'm going to put it down flat and cut. I was holding it up so that you can see it, but that's dumb. We don't want to cut off any fingers live, do we? So I put that down, and since this is a light piece, I'm going to find a darker piece. I love the mix of light and dark. Okay. Uh-oh. What? Just what I was going to check. The bobbin thread is empty. No worries. No worries because I have a bobbin winder. It's not high speed like the one I used to own. I knew I was going to be sewing up a lot of jeans. So look, you know how some of the jeans have orange trim on them? So I have bobbins already threaded with orange. I have some that somebody gifted me, a whole bag with gold. I have off-white, I have light blue, I have cream, I have black. So I will just pop out one of these handy dandy pre-wound bobbins. You can buy them pre-wound or you can wind them yourself. I buy them a lot, a lot, a lot. Yes, don't forget to drop your channels, you guys. And I keep the different trays for the different machines. Francesca, hello, and thank you, thank you, thank you. I caught you, Francesca, and Yankee Sister live from the bushes. And then by the time I could get in the house, and when I'm threading the bobbin, you guys, and I know I promised a couple of you that I would make a video threading the machine. I haven't had a chance to do it yet
Auntie
because I
Ella,
have so many doctor's appointments.
Auntie Ella.
So just
There you go.
quickly, because the top came unthreaded, and I'm using the stand winder in the back. I'm just going to thread around, go around the top. When you stop on purpose, you always stop with the needle up. Why? Because it changes the tension. The way the stitch works, if you go backwards with this flywheel, it messes up your timing, as well as when when the needle is all the way in the very upright position, there's a place where it locks with the bottom and then releases. It locks with the bottom and releases. So this is actually binding, not white. I'm going to stick this in back of the needle so I can thread the top quickly. I'm using this dark blue thread. Where the heck is the end of it? Okay. So, hold on, you guys. Just a minute. And Sissy, remember when you used to thread all my sewing machines for me? So this thread doesn't want to go through there. I don't know why. Just a second, you guys. There it goes. There I go, pretty baby. You're the soul that snaps my control. So I'm not wasting all that thread. I'm going to pull it out. Those of you with embroidery machines, you never pull the thread backwards. You don't want your thread to break in the middle of what you're doing. So I'm taking this top thread and I'm holding the end of it because I just put a new bobbin in. I'm going to put the needle down once and pull it up. You always have to do that when you put a new bobbin in. And you pull the bobbin thread up to the top. If you don't pull your thread up to the top, you absolutely will, I promise you, get a tangle. So I'm putting this little plastic thing. I don't know why they don't sell these sewing machines with more than one little plastic thingy, because I used to not be able to see that. I would take it off to rethread my needle, and it would take me an hour to find it. Ugh. Okay, so let me find a couple pieces I want to sew together. Let me take these two. And what I do when I'm doing this part, sewing crumbs together, normally you test it once to make sure that it's going to sew. But I didn't, because this handy dandy machine is relatively new. I've only had it since Christmas. And I only bought it to sew all these jeans and things together. Why? Because I don't want to mess up my little antique machines. So, I thought this was cute. This is a piece I actually patched before, but I'm going to put this in here. Not sure if it's quite, I don't think it's quite wide enough. So, oh, here's a bigger piece. So you just mix and match all these crumbs together. And I like to mix dark and light and light and dark. Like, see this? This was a really tall guy that gave my granddaughter the jeans to go in my mother's quilt. Mother's quilt. Why she wants a denim quilt, I don't know, but whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. Because my mother did everything in her power to give her children not what they wanted necessarily, but whatever they needed. And if she had one candy bar and 6 kids, she would break it up and give each of us a piece. Or if there's neighbors' kids visiting, everybody got something. Everybody got something. Nobody went without. Nobody went without. So here I am sewing these pieces that are coming off the back end of the machine. And I usually like to sew at least in twosies. Because then you don't have to keep rethreading the machine. So this one, these two are not the same width, but guess what? This one kind of sort of looks like it might fit across part of here. So that's what I'll do. I'll sew this across part of here. And I'm using the edge of the presser foot as a guide. This quilt, it's not that serious because we're just putting crumbs together to make a cake, a layer cake. So let me dig down in some of these darker scraps. Here's a piece coming off of here. This one is really light, but I'm still going to sew it on here, just enough to make one block each. Yes, you guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video out, because while everybody may not be able to buy those expensive fabrics you see in the stores, may not be able to catch all of the sales, everybody can find a pair of old jeans to cut up and make something. For some of you, like homesteading with Janet, she's not on here right now, but you can make these strips, crochet them together, and make rag rugs. You can do just about anything. Oh, and I have a list of things that I make with denim, and they're not exclusively to this. Earrings, key fobs, jackets, aprons, shirts, postcards, fabric beads, weekender bags. Something for everyone. Old jeans are high fashion now. High fashion. Oh, who was it? Psalm 146 had me dying laughing. I've been using old wheelbarrows as planters for at least 50 years. And I don't know. I think even my very first house had a jeans planter. So I have this piece and I have this piece. Some kind of way I'm going to trim this little seam, sew them together, because what I'm going to do is make a block that is at least, put it back down again, right? Stop cutting it up in the air, Auntie Ellen. Scaring people, because that's not safe. The scissors could slip or something. Oh, here's a nice long piece. Why don't I throw him over my shoulder? So here's a long piece. Oh, I'll put this long piece on this. Nope, it's too close to that one. So I will put it on the side of this one and sew it, and so on and so forth. So we are sewing crumbs into layer cakes. And some of the smaller, I'm starting with the bigger blocks on the quilt first. Why? Because they're going to be the hardest to to find pieces to make a 10.5 inch block, a 6.5 inch block by 10. So I'm sewing these scraps together. This one is a little raggedy. Why? Because I'm moving my fingers way, way, way away. Because I unsewed them. Oh, those aren't as sharp as these. Come on, big boy. Come on, big boy. Come to mama. Come to mama. Okay. So I'm using the seam and all. Seam and all. Make a quilt, Francesca. Make a quilt. Good. My husband has so many jeans that need repurposing. Yes, and I want to. I wish I saved the holy parts. I could go in the trash can and get them, but some of them are so ragged and wretched. So I'm taking these. I'm sewing this one to this one, and this denim quilt will last. Oh my gosh, it will last as long as you're on this earth, Francesca. You see how when Levi Strauss started, right? What did they say? 1863? And these don't dry rot. These don't dry rot. Some of the other brand jeans may not last as long, and they don't. They don't. They honestly don't. Oh, look. I know what I forgot to tell you. I saved this to show you guys. This is the inner label to that pair of jeans that had that real pretty orange pocket. But what I did was this. I knew it was a size 42. So that means this whole piece is a size 42. I can use this side of the strap, and this is almost the strap for a crossbody bag. I can use either side. Look at this nice white detail stitching on it. So what I'm going to do is save this whole piece to go on one of my bags to use as a shoulder piece, something. Oh, this is going to be a really nice patch. Look at all the colors in here. So I'm going to keep going. So this one here, I'm just going until I can get one 10.5-inch block sewn. I look on the back to see which way the seam is going. Then I just keep going. And the nicest blocks are honestly the ones that are pieced together, but who wants to do all that work? All that work. I'm doing it as a necessity because my mother needs 42 pieces by 42 pieces by 42 pieces. See what a strange shape this is? So I see this part is square. I'm going to fill in along this edge. So I'm just going to cut this edge off and find, whoa, baby, this is a big piece that I've already sewn together. So I know this is more than 10.5 inches. This one I suspect is up here because this side may not be either 10.5 inches or 6.5 inches. So it's 9. So I see what I was going for on this side was a 10.5-inch piece. So I'm going to find, whoa, look at this one. So I'm going to put these two together. That one's wide on this side, on that side. This one is wide on this side. I'll push some of this stuff back so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Told you this looked like a blue jean graveyard over here. So I'm going to sew this strip onto here so that you guys can see where the magic happened. So this was the side that was narrow. So I'm going to sew a wide side on here, but unfortunately the other side was too close to the same color. But too bad, too bad. I'm just going to keep showing because this one will be able to be made into a 10.5-inch by 10.5-inch block, or it may even be able to be made into a 6.5 by 16, a 6.5 by 16.5-inch block. Well, you could make a small one. You can make it a throw, Francesca, then make the throw bigger and bigger. The one I have on my bed started off as a memory quilt with my dad's old pants, and then just recently I added on to it. So this one needs one little piece over there, and I know it'll go to 6.5 inches. So this is what I do. This one needs one on the side, but look at this, you guys. Look at this huge piece. So I can square it up and put it on my cutting table, and I know that I can make a 16.5-inch square. So that being said, this is how you sew crumbs to make charm squares. I mean, to make layer cakes. Sewing crumbs into layer cakes. And, oh, here's a nice big piece that I could have sewn on the other side. And I will. So, through the magic of television or video vision, let me show you some. You would be a winter project. Now you're in the garden. Or, Francesca, it doesn't hand sewn quilts last. Yes, you hand sew Yankee sister, you can do that. You can do 15 minutes a day, a half hour. It is relaxing. Maybe you should get a couple of pairs, Darth X. Like I said, during the 90s, that's when I was in the corporate field and spent all that money using gift certificates from my law firm to buy jeans. So let me use my chest for a design wall. Try not to show you all too much of my thighs, a Nikki girl. Oh, so don't forget, 7 o'clock, the Everyday Life of an OCD chick is going live. 8 o'clock, I think Odom, um, the New Jersey, the Garden State Gardener, Vision Preparedness. So look, here is a 10.5 inch block all squared up for a layer cake. I have several of these, and these are the 10.5 inch blocks for Mommy's quilt. So I have about half of them done. Half of them will be, I mean, not half of them, maybe a quarter of them will be these piece blocks. Why? Because it takes a lot to make them. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions? So let me see. It's 5:52, almost 6 o'clock. Does anybody have any questions? You can make this into a small, just like a little kitchen rug, and by just putting batting in it and backing and maybe having it almost like a table runner. Almost like a table runner. I don't know if you can see this table runner. It's actually just a little something because I have this heavy duty machine. Sometimes I ride them hard and put them away wet, like they say with the horses. And I'm sewing hard. And to keep it from vibrating on this little chintzy table, this is just a little portable table. It's not like it's a heavy wood table to absorb the shock. So I just have one of my table runners underneath it to match. So now it's time to say goodbye to all our lovely friends. Thanks, you guys, for coming. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hold on for the outro. I love you in American Sign Language. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. There's some kind of game being played with my subscriber list, but it is what it is. So I will try to scroll down to my